It's the most underrated film.
Oof.
Here we go.
Jackie Brown.
Definitely be Jackie Brown, in my opinion.
His most underrated film is Jackie Brown.
Is absolutely Jackie Brown.
I think that's going to be Jackie Brown.
His most underrated film, I feel like, is Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown, I find when I talk to people about Tarantino, they always kind of forget that he did that.
Jackie Brown kind of gets lost in the cracks because it's right after Pulp Fiction.
The first film of his that he directed after Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction was not just a movie, it was a phenomenon.
People were expecting another Pulp Fiction, and then when Jackie Brown came out, I remember a lot of people were disappointed.
Nobody wanted a subtle crime film.
I feel like not many people know it or really gave it a chance.
I don't ever hear people talking about it.
It's great, and I think people have either slept on it.
And it's a great movie. The characters are cool, and it's a movie that I could just put on like whenever.
But it's a really good film.
Pretty much.
But if you go back and watch that film, it holds up today, and I just feel like it's criminally underrated.
Most underrated film, one that gets an inordinate amount of shit for some reason, is Jackie Brown.
Except no substitute.
I've got issues with Jackie Brown in terms of there's like 45 minutes I love in Jackie Brown, but everything else it didn't hit for me, and maybe I was just too young.
It's not his own story.
And it's adapted from a novel by Elmore Leonard. It's the only one of the movies that's not essentially, his story.
Adaptation of it. It's got some great characters, some great moments, some great acting. And I think it just doesn't get enough love. Jackie Brown.
Can I choose from Dusk Till Dawn?
Get out!
Don't know that any are necessarily underrated. I would say when people talk about their favorite Tarantino movies, you get Reservoir Dogs a lot, Pulp Fiction a lot, The Kill Bills a lot.
To me, the most underrated Tarantino film is Kill Bill.
My favorite one is Inglourious Bastards, and no one dislikes it, but I hear very few people say it's their favorite, and I think it should be their favorite.
I guess the most underrated film would have to be The Hateful Eight.
Is The Hateful Eight.
Got room for one more.
It came out after a time when it was leaked, and everybody's like, well, the script leaked, and I don't want to see it, and it's really long.
But The Hateful Eight is almost like it's an epic. It's a 3-hour movie.
I don't know if it's a Western and people don't like Westerns, but I find that there's a lot of people that actually haven't even heard of it.
Kind of like skipped over it.
Because I don't think a lot of people saw it, including me. I still have to watch it other than I've seen clips.
It's got a great set, great location. It's got a great cast. The Hateful Eight is such an epic, and it looks great. And I love the set. And I love the characters. I love Kurt.
I think it's great.
Now we're talking.
Maybe Jackie Brown as well, because obviously Jackie Brown doesn't get talked about as much.
It's really good, and it's just a shame that nobody really appreciates it for what it is.
Go back to Jackie Brown, you'd be very surprised.